Good evening. Have you submitted the fees at the reception? Please position your camera so that I can see your hands and shoulders. Great, let's start then. Now, I believe you're here today for your psychological evaluation to renew your master's license for seafaring.
Yes, I'm interested in continuing my role as the captain of a merchant ship. I run trade for pest control supplies. I've been doing this for 30 years now.
I see. My understanding is after these many years at sea, people begin to feel trapped, like being stuck in jail. Do you feel that way? What got you interested in seafaring in the first place?
No, in fact, it makes me feel free. I want to learn everything I can and see the world, and being on a ship pays me to do that only. As to what got me into this in the first place, that's a long story.
We've got the time.
I used to make my living as a rat trap peddler by begging or indulging in petty thievery for the materials, roaming the streets without any sense of destination or aim, except the means for the next meal, which in itself required the struggle that consumed the majority of the day. And even then, I went hungry most days. With a vagabond routine and no one's company but my own, I had sunk into the negativity, creating conclusions about the way of life in my head. They entertained me and gave meaning to my life when I would not live it the way I wish I could.
What conclusions did you reach?
That the whole world was a rat trap, that it never existed for any other purpose than to set baits for people, offering riches and joys, shelter and food. Exactly as the rat trap offered cheese and pork. And as soon as anyone lets themselves be tempted to touch the bait, it closes in on them, making everything come to an end.
I see. The monotony and sadness of your life made the structure and making of the rat traps you sold bleed in your perception to become the world around you. The world had been unkind to you, so it gave you pleasure to think ill of it in return. But what changed?
Once upon a time, I asked for shelter in a cottage I came across. The old man living there welcomed me generously into his home and his confidences. Thank you for the warm porridge and tobacco, sir.
No problem. I have neither a wife nor a child. And I've never been fond of the quietness here. So that's why I've also worked at the iron mill during my youth.
Are you still in that profession?
At this old age now? No. I'm no longer suitable for day labor. Now my cow supports me. Yeah, that one. Well, I have to tell you that Bossy is extraordinary and gives milk to me every day. Last month I earned around 30 kronas. Well, she's quite a fortune. So, shall we continue our game then?
Yes, however, I would request it be a last as I'm quite tired now. Thank you for providing me shelter for tonight.
You're welcome. Make it 2 games, please. Then we will turn in for the night.
Run.
And then I took off into the forest.
What were your feelings and justification regarding your actions?
For the crofter, my company was a personal gain, and for my survival, I assumed the stolen money to be fair game. Thus, at first, I felt quite pleased with my cunningness. I perceived it not as something I needed, but what I thought could give me another direction to live in.
Okay, so what was the rat trap? The forest?
Yes, with its trunks and branches, it felt like an impenetrable prison from which I could never escape. My situation imitated a rat running around in a rat trap looking for a way out. The greed for the bait, his sole cause of misery.
Hmm, what happened then?
I was lost in my gloom and despair, but then I heard the sounds of hammer strokes from an iron mill. The hope of people nearby gave me the strength to pick myself up and reach there. I had only gone in there for the warmth and sleep, but my interaction with the Iron Master changed my course of the evening.
Hmm, go on.
But of course it is you, Niels Olaf. How do you look?
Yes, God knows things have gone downhill with me.
You should not have resigned from the regiment. That was the mistake. If only I had been at service at that time, it would have never happened. Well, now, of course, you will come along with me.
No, I could not think of it.
Please don't think that I have such a fine home that you cannot show yourself there. Elizabeth is dead, as you may have already heard. My boys are abroad, and it's just me and my oldest daughter, Edla, at home. We were just saying that how bad it is that we do not have any company for Christmas. Now come along and help us disappear the Christmas food faster.
My name is Adlaval Manson. My father came home and said that you wanted to sleep here in the forge tonight. So I asked his permission to bring you home to us. I'm so sorry, Captain, that you're having such a bad time. You may be sure, Captain, that you will be allowed to leave just as freely as you came. Only please stay over Christmas Eve with us.
It would have never occurred to me that you would bother with me yourself, miss. I will come at once.
Well, that was quite an unexpected turn in events. Why did you play along with the Ironmaster's misunderstanding?
I thought that if he thought that I was an old acquaintance, he might perhaps throw me a couple of kroner. I did not want to undeceive him all at once.
Quick thinking. Why did you refuse the Ironmaster and then accept Edla's invitation? What was the difference between the two?
The invitation to come to the manor had felt like going into the lion's den. On the ride over, it had felt like I would never get out of the rat trap. Miss Edla's words were reassuring against that outcome, so I accepted.
Edla seems very perceptive. She was able to curtail your panic and was able to figure out some aspect of your situation apparently from just your expression.
I agree. She's compassionate too, as you will understand when we proceed. On Christmas Eve,
First of all, we must see that he gets a little flesh on his bones. And then we must see that he gets something else to do than to run around the country selling rat traps.
It is queer that things have gone downhill with him. Last night, I did not think there was anything about him to show that he had once been an educated man.
You must have patience, my little girl. What does this mean?
it's not my fault, sir. I never pretending to be anything but a poor trader, and I pleaded and begged to be allowed to stay in the forge. But no harm has been done. At worst, I can put on my rags again and go away.
You was not quite honest, Peter. You must admit that. I should not be surprised if the sheriff would like to have something to say in this matter.
Now I'm going to tell you, Mr. Ironmaster, how things are. This whole world is nothing but a big rat trap. All the good things that are offered to you are nothing but cheese rinds and bits of pork, set out to drag a poor fellow into trouble. And if the sheriff comes now and locks me up for this, then you, Mr. Ironmaster, must remember that a day may come when you yourself may want to get a big piece of pork, and then you will get caught in the rat trap.
That was not so badly said, my good fellow. Perhaps we should let the sheriff alone on Christmas Eve. But now get out of here as fast as you can.
I think he ought to stay with us today. I don't want him to go.
What in the world are you doing?
Thinking of this stranger. He walks and walks the whole year long, and there is probably not a single place in the world where he feels safe and can feel at home. Wherever he turns, he is chased away. He is always afraid of being cross-examined and arrested. I should like to have him enjoy a single day of peace here with us. Just one in the whole year. It was all a mistake, of course. But anyway, I don't think we ought to chase a person away to whom we have asked to come here and to whom we have promised Christmas cheer.
Preach worse than a parson. I only hope that you won't have to regret this.
And I just kept wondering, why had she done it? What could the crazy idea be?
Did you get an answer?
No, but I was grateful for her compassion. I slept the whole time away that I wasn't eating. They woke me up only so that I could have a share of the good Christmas fare. For years, I had not been able to sleep as quietly and as safely as there at Ramsden.
What happened after?
It is my father's wish that the suit which you wear is to be a Christmas present. You do not have to return it. And if you want to spend the next Christmas Eve at a place where you can be in peace and be sure that no evil would befall you, you are welcome back here
I
again.
could only look at her in boundless amazement. The next morning, they left me sleeping while they went to the church. So I left the house with a letter addressed to Miss Edla.
Yes, that was a fine fellow you let into the house. I only wonder how many silver spoons are still left in the cupboard. Is the stranger still here? Turns out he was a thief.
A rat trap, a decron husk, and a letter.
And after I wrote that, I decided to make a change.
See, what did you pursue after?
I ran away, primarily to escape persecution, but to also explore more than what I have seen stuck in the rat trap. After which I finished on the technical skills of my trade and working part-time as a manual laborer in building the ship harbor. From there, I worked hard and used my wit to rise to the standards of my ship's captain. Psychologically, what do you think made me change my ways?
I believe that your solitude stemmed into your thinking of yourself as a lone rat, working to survive only and thinking of what you couldn't have as bait in a trap to protect yourself. Your condition was dire, and you reasoned through it such that you felt smart and not weak, by not allowing yourself to dream at all. Thieving to you was a necessary evil. The company and kindness of another human being reminded you that there was more to life than that and made you to set out to explore that. We all have a tendency to redeem ourselves from our dishonest ways, and Edla's attitude towards you, given freely, ignited it in you. In a way, she was your fairy godmother.
I'm happy now. Being a captain is really satisfactory. I feel at home in the sea.
And that's great because I'm approving your license for renewal. You'll soon be back where you belong.
Do you think, before I go, what I did to survive was wrong?
Do you think it was?